I'm really happy to be back with this new video, and thank you for joining me. In this video I'm going to talk about the month of February and what we can expect. And this month is probably one of the most pivotal and I would say the most important month of the year 2026, because we have an upcoming total solar eclipse in the sign of Aquarius on the 17th. The same day, it's the Chinese New Year. We're going to go into the Horse of Fire year. And 3 days later, on the 20th, we have a super strong Neptune-Saturn Conjunction in Aries. This solar eclipse in Aquarius really marks a new beginning, and I would say almost like a big reset for many of us, and the beginning of a new era. So the energy of 2026 is really beginning with this eclipse in February, because the past month in January we were still like in a phase of regeneration, maybe healing, we needed some rest, and also gestation in a way. And the new year really begins on the 17th with this solar eclipse, and also because it is the Chinese New Year. And I had a very specific vision for that. I saw that we were almost like trapped at the bottom of a lake or the sea, or at least it was in the water, and we were trapped in the mud at the bottom of that lake or the sea. And we were starting to actually liberate ourselves from the mud, you know, like this kind of gooey mud that sticks to your skin. And progressively we were like swimming upward, and the more we went up, the more we were rising, the more the water was transparent and crystalline again, until we were almost to the surface, and then I was seeing the sun shining through the surface. And once we got there, we were almost like taking our breaths again and filling our lungs with this new oxygen, this new breath of air. And for me, it really represented this spiritual and divine breath, a new breath. And then I saw a bit further in the background, like a new shore, like unexplored territory, a new, like a, you know, an unexplored island almost. And the message was really that we need to elevate ourselves and take this new breath of air, this new oxygen, which is really related to the divine breath, so we can then explore new shores, new territory together. And very often when we feel stuck like in this mud, we can also see that the entire collective, the entire world is kind of like, yeah, gooey, stuck, imprisoned in this mud. And it's not because we see that the world is in this way that we need to stay ourselves trapped in the mud. So this is why there's really this call for us to liberate ourselves from that, from this density, and elevate ourselves so that we can take this new breath and we can then explore new territory. But there is a kind of challenge in there as well. And the challenge is mainly the relationship we have with the unknown, because this eclipse really marks something like a new beginning, you know, like very big changes in many areas of our lives and also collectively. It also speaks about embracing the unknown and accepting to walk through the dark, not knowing where we are going, and step by step just trusting the universe that we are all guided in the way that we need to. So there is a big emphasis on embracing the unknown, so we can then explore together this unexplored territory and really kind of lead the way and open the path for the collective to follow us then. And there was also, I think, a metaphor for what is happening with our DNA, because this mud, this density, represents for me the carbon DNA, and the crystalline waters and the sunshine through the surface and this breath, this new breath of fresh air represents the crystalline DNA. So it is a metaphor, I think, also for this transition that we are experiencing, which is going from a carbon DNA to a crystalline DNA. The sign of Aquarius, where the solar eclipse is happening, is really a sign all about rebellion, revolution, really leading the way in you know, like new pathways, innovation. So we will also see a lot of innovation, whether it's with technology, but also with healing modalities. There will be new healing methods coming out and new ways of exploring actually spirituality as well. And this solar eclipse in Aquarius is happening the same day that we have the Chinese New Year, which is also going into the year of the horse of fire. So again, there's a really strong emphasis on the rebellion, the revolution. The horse is really about like exploring new territories, but also about freedom, about running wild. You can really imagine these wild horses running, you know, through the meadows. Absolutely beautiful actually to watch them. And it really talks about movement, about rebellion, about passion. And with the element of fire, it's even more so. It's really this very strong emphasis on speed, acceleration, and again, like the passion that we're moving through. So it's a more like a yang masculine energy as well. Last time that we had a year of the horse of fire was 1966. Very interesting year. When we look back at that year, what happened? Well, we had the Chinese Cultural Revolution. There were a lot of protests happening also because there was the Vietnam War, and so a lot of anti-war protests. There was a kind of also peace and love revolution, and there was also the civil rights movements in the US. So it was pretty packed with this energy of rebellion, revolution, and really like the people calling for something new. Then just 3 days later, on the 20th, we have this Neptune-Saturn Conjunction in Aries at 0 degrees of Aries, which is the very beginning of the zodiac, but also it's the 0-point field in a way. So very powerful energy as well. And again, last time that we had a Neptune-Saturn conjunction, it was 1989. And what happened in 1989? Well, it was the fall of the Berlin Wall, the Iron Curtain that came down. So a huge revolution, like on the world stage. It was very, very, very powerful and important. And if we look even further back, in 1773, we also had a Neptune-Saturn conjunction, and that was the very beginning of the American Independence War. So the very beginning of the United States, the birth of the United States actually. And we will see that this eclipse and this conjunction will very, very probably also have a very US related theme in the collective. We will see that the US will be like on the forefront of something very important on the world stage as well. This Neptune and Saturn conjunction really represents bringing back the spiritual into matter. And I would say even bringing back the mystical into matter, because Neptune is really about mysticism. And it's also about changing our identities, because the sign of Aries is the eye, it's the incarnation. So it's really changing also the way that we relate to spirituality on this earth. And also going back to this vision that I had, I think that Neptune really represents this water that I saw. And Saturn, which is the master of time, that is more dense, represents this mud. But it also serves a purpose. You know, we are incarnated on this earth, we are incarnated into matter, and we have a law of time that applies when we are incarnated, but this relationship to time is also going to change. And the more we're going to free ourselves from this density, this mud that is sticking to our skin, the more we are going to experience this broader perspective that Neptune brings to us. Because Neptune is really the ocean of consciousness, and it relates really to our true divine identity that we are going to retrieve during these times. And we should also be aware that it is not selfish to free ourselves, even though the collective is still maybe entrapped and like imprisoned in this mud and this density. Because in the same way that on a plane we will first put our oxygen mask on ourselves before we can help others. We need to elevate ourselves, we need to free ourselves, we need to take this new breath of fresh air in order then to be helpful to others and actually lead the way and lead this new path. So again, there's really this strong emphasis for light workers to be at their rightful place, and I talked about that in my previous video for my 2026 forecast. If you haven't seen it already, you can watch it here. And it's really about like leading the way and making peace with the unknown so that we can really step by step enter this new era and these unexplored territories together. And this eclipse, with this conjunction, with this Chinese New Year, is really, for me, represents the door that we are opening on this new era, which is the age of Aquarius. And this age of Aquarius, we will see that there is going to be a rise of consciousness, but the consciousness of love that is related to solidarity, to equity, to like going forward all together and exploring all that is all together. So it's really exciting, and this energy that we are experiencing in February is going to open also the door on March and April, which will be very intense months, I think. But it's really happening first this February, starting on the 17th with this total solar eclipse. So I hope you navigate those energies in the best way possible, and I hope that all this information was helpful for you. I will see you soon. Take care. Sat Nam.